So this week we are going to study the topic about future forms. We are going to explain in this video the uses of will, be going to, and the present continuous as future forms. So let's start by explaining the class. So in this part we are going to study about the future perfect. As we already said, it refers to an action that will happen before another action in the future. The formula for the future perfect tense is pretty simple. We use will plus have plus past participle. Sometimes we can use be going to plus have plus past participle. It doesn't matter if the subject of your sentence is singular or plural, the formula doesn't change. So it's something we should consider when we are using the future perfect form. As you can see, there are two events in the future, but since future perfect is an action which will happen before another action in the future, then we refer to this one. So the future perfect tense refers to a completed action in the future. So when we use this tense, we are projecting ourselves forward into the future and looking back at an action that will be completed sometime later than now. It is most often used with a time expression. So let's see the following examples to have a better idea how to use the future perfect form. We use the future perfect to say how long an action starts before and continues up to another action or time in the future. We use the future perfect with stative verbs, but when we use time expressions, we usually need the present simple as well, as in the example. By the time I'm 30 years old, I will have traveled to Europe. There we have two future events in this sentence. I will travel to Europe, and also we say by the time I'm 30 years old. But since we are talking about an event that will happen before another one, then we talk about this, and this is our future perfect. We don't use the future tense in the time clause with the expression by the time. We use simple present as we repeat by the time I'm 30 years old. This is my time clause. I will have traveled to Europe. This is the emphasis about the future perfect. Another thing could be when we get married, I'll have known Robert for 40 years, for example, or at 4 o'clock I'll have been in this office for 24 hours. So listen how the simple present works and how the future perfect is established on those examples. As we already said at the beginning, the future perfect is formed with will plus have plus past participle. But be going to plus have plus past participle has the same function, and these two forms are interchangeable. For example, his father will come home before she graduates. As we already explained as well, we use in the time clause the simple present. The example that we have below, I'm going to have finished this test before 10 a.m. So there we have the simple present as well by the form in the time clause. So in there we can establish that we can use either the future form by will plus have plus past participle, or using be going to plus have plus past participle. And when we have the time clause, don't forget that we use the simple present. For structuring negative sentences, we're going to follow the rule that we have by subject plus will not or won't, that is the contraction, plus have plus the verb in past participle. For example, his father will have come home before she graduates. If we want to make this sentence in a negative way, we say his father will not or won't have come home before she graduates. I can use be going to as well in negative. Sure, I'm going to have finished this test before 10 a.m. or I'm not going to have finished this test before 10 a.m. So there we have the uses by the negative sentences using won't or using be going to in the negative form. If you want to make a question in the yes no form, we're going to follow the regular structure that we have already learned. by the auxiliary, the subject, the verb, and the complement. So in this case we have the structure will plus the subject plus have plus the verb in the participial form. There you can see the sentence, and if we transform the sentence into a question, we're gonna say, will his father have come home before she graduates? When we answer because we have asked with will, we are going to answer with will. So the answer, yes, he will have. We can use be going to. Sure, as you can see the sentence, now we transform into a question. Am I going to have finished this test before 10 a.m.? Yes, you are going to have. So this is the answer that we have if we formulate the question using be going to. Here you can see a summary by examples using affirmative, negative, and questions in the future perfect tense. I will go by them. It will rain by the time we reach home. By the time she turns 18, she will get her own car. So we have those cues as reference, and I would like you to pay attention how the sentences have been formulated and as well how the question has been established by the rules. You can take your time and make an analysis about the three forms using these examples. To finish, we have more examples. Tim will buy his own house before he gets married. Andy is going to eat dinner by the time we arrive home. Miss Newton will close the library before we finish our homework. You can see as well the structure by positive, negative, and questions for using the future perfect tense. So guys, with this chart, we'll make a summary about the topic that we have been studying for this lesson.